Dear with everyone, welcome back to my sitting room. My name is Diesel and you are as always most welcome. Merry Christmas! It's Christmas. Well technically it's St. Stephen's Day now because it's after midnight, but it was Christmas, and if you celebrate Christmas, hope that you had a really nice day. And if you don't, I also hope that you had a really nice day. Today we're going to talk about a book, but before that I want to tell you my traumatizing story. So it's Christmas and there are certain traditions that go with Christmas. Unfortunately, carol singers are one of them. And so the other day, I actually must preface this story by telling you that I have social anxiety, so answering phones and doors are traumatic enough already. But the doorbell rang and it was quite late at night, so I was like, oh, it's probably going to be, I don't know, someone trying to sell me something. So, like a fool, I went to the door and I opened it, and expecting it to be an adult, my eye line was like adult line. But there was nobody there. There was like, until the singing started, and I slowly panned down to find a small child in a fake beard just singing at me, just singing right on its own, just singing at me. It was me and this child, and they were singing, and I was like, oh my god, what is happening? And it was really awkward because carol singing is awkward in general, and then I have this anxiety, so it was like, oh my god, what is happening? So to make it less awkward, kind of, I just said, hold it right there, I'm just gonna get you the money, you don't need to sing anymore. I essentially paid this child to go away. So now that we've got that horrific experience out of the way, let's get right down to it. Today we're going to be reviewing a book. That book is Haven, The War of Princes, Book 1, and it is by Ivanovich, and we might as well just get straight to it. So what's it all about? Well, the story follows 17-year-old Caitlin, who lives in a country called Haven, which is completely cut off from the rest of the world. They're pretty much enclosed in, like, I guess, a ring of mountains. But Caitlin longs for more, as most of our protagonists do, and one day she finds a hidden passageway out into the outside world, and while she's exploring she finds an injured soldier. His name is Rune, and she doesn't want to leave him there to die, so she helps to bring him to his camp where he can be rescued. Unfortunately, the people that are coming to rescue him think that she's a spy from a neighbouring kingdom where he lives, and they keep her captive. She is held in the castle of Lord Dylan Axton, and while she's there she discovers that the land that she has stumbled across is filled with war and controlled by people with very strange and lethal powers. And throughout the story you really get to see why the place that she lives, Haven, has been locked away and why they don't want to be a part of this world. And Caitlin realizes that she is in fact in a whole lot of danger, and the only way she's going to survive is if she goes back home, but that will come with a cost. I think that was an okay explanation. Do you? Okay, cool, thanks. Now that we've done that, let's get right down to thoughts, I guess. Oh boy. The first thing you need to know about this book is the characters. Protagonist Caitlin is fine. She's not a very exciting protagonist, but she's not the worst protagonist you can go on a journey with either. The characters in this are all very stereotypical. Caitlin is the stereotypical protagonist, YA protagonist. The bad guy or bad guys are very typically like evil. I'm going to hurt you, I will hurt everyone you love, kind of usual stuff. There's a love triangle, which, if you've been here for a while, you will know how I feel about love triangles. We're going to get to that more in a second. The characters are just alright. There's nothing of very high substance, but I mean, they're not the worst. The next thing you need to know about this book is there's so much unnecessary detail and storyline that if all that crap was taken out, the book would have been so much shorter. Like, for example, the first couple of chapters take place in the valley where she lives, Haven. And I was like, oh, it's going to build us up to show us around Haven. No, it had a storyline about her friend fancying this boy, about Caitlyn's ex-boyfriend being mean to her and everyone judging her for being mean to her for no reason, just out of the blue. People calling her easy. Then I don't know, her and her friends go up on this like freaking wheel thing or something. They jump into water. Caitlyn jumps into water about 3 times throughout the book, or throughout the first couple of chapters, which is acknowledged. She's like, oh, this is the 3rd time I've done this, for absolutely no valid reason. Things like everyone in Haven Valley have surname and forenames that have the same letter, and when some guy randomly doesn't, you think, oh, this guy is going to be important, but then we never see him again in the book once she leaves the valley. What else? Like, there's a map at the front of this book which takes place, or which maps out just the valley that she lives in, the place where the story doesn't take place. I was really confused by that. There's so much detail about characters that mean absolutely nothing, that you're just like, why are you explaining what these 50 characters that I'm not going to care about in 2 minutes? Like, literally, every time Caitlyn met a character, the author of this book would describe what that character looked like. If they were nameless, if they never appeared again, didn't matter. You were going to learn exactly what they aesthetically looked like. And in my opinion, if you're going to describe someone in great detail, they better be freaking important to the book, because I'm building a mental image of this person to hold for the next time I meet them. But these people never appear again. What's the point? Also, the political system of this book is massively confusing, and there's like so many different tiers of who's in charge, and there's nothing that really sets them apart from each other, like name-wise, so you're just kind of like, what? I only managed to grasp the ones that were actually in this book that you know are important, and half the characters in the tier you never meet, so I was just like, I'm never going to remember any of this. There's just so much unnecessary beep in this book. Shite, I meant to say shite. That I was just like at one point I literally said to my dad, I'd be done with this by now if she wasn't describing the next 500 random characters that have no name. It was very distressing for my soul. I also had some things that really ticked me off in this book. Some weird line written things or random things. Dylan Axton, the Lord guy. When you first meet him, he kind of reminded me of Dorian from Throne of Glass. Kind of that I'm very important, a bit cocky, tiny bit charming, but a bit of a douchebag kind of vibe of him. But he has a serious case of insta-love for Caitlyn, which I didn't really see coming. I knew he was kind of like, ha ha ha, you're a bit of alright, but Jesus Christ. And then at one point, after knowing each other for, I'd say, maybe less than a week, he makes a move on her, and she is not interested, as she's entitled to be, and he gets really pissed off, right? And she says, you only want to keep me around because I'm different, I'm new. And he says, what's wrong with that? And she says, bearing in mind that they've only known each other less than a week, and she has never met him before this and knows absolutely nothing about him other than the implied after this that he's a bit of a flirt. Everything is wrong with it. I'm not going to be just another girl that you get bored with and ignore. You don't know it. What are you talking about? That just, that made me just be like, no, 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 no. Because what does that even mean? She doesn't know him from Adam. But I have no words. I have no words. And then later on, while Caitlin is locked in another cell, she gets a secret note that has been placed carefully that so only she will be able to see it, because when you're passing a secret message, you don't want anyone to know that it's a secret message from a person who is already been told that he's in serious danger for being associated with her. So Dylan has written this note and gone through all the trouble of like wrapping it up and sneaking into her cell and carefully placing it so no one else will see. And when she unravels it, he has signed it. He has signed the secret note. And not only, no my friends, not only did he sign the note, the pompous git signs it with his full freaking title, with Lord Dylan Axton. And it literally says above that, "Until we meet again." Well, I guess we have no doubt who sent this freaking note then, do we? This author will never make a good international spy, because that is how you get yourself killed. Oh yeah, dear James Bond, meet me under the clock. I'll be the one in the trench coat. P.S. It's Diesel. Like, oh. And the last utterly ridiculous thing is the whole time Caitlin is gone from Haven, she's gone. Time has not like slowed down there. She is literally a missing teenager. The whole time she's with the other people, she's missing from her home, and it's a long time. Like, she's there for a good chunk of time, and like her horse comes back without her there. Like, she's genuinely missing. So when she appears back looking disheveled and like she's almost died a lot, obviously her family are concerned and they're like, "Where the hell have you been?" And she doesn't want to explain to them where she's been for reasons that you'll find out in the book. But this is her explanation. This is her explanation. Her dad asks her, "Where the frick have you been?" And she says, "I did some survival training." I told them, hoping that would be a good enough explanation. "I should have told you, but I wanted it to be authentic." My dad put his fist on his hip and sized me up skeptically. "Yeah, he knows you're a liar." Oh no, wait, he doesn't. Because he says, "Well, that does sound like something you'd do. Did you at least pass the program?" Can I just put in here that at no point in the unnecessary storyline were we ever told that Caitlin would like to do survival? It's like that time when I read that book about the angels where something really odd happened and they explained it in such a ludicrous way. This is a cop-out. This is a cop-out explanation. This is the author being like, "Shit, now I have to explain why she's been missing all this time. I'll just put this in. No one will question it." If I disappeared for weeks and came back and was like, "Oh, it's alright, I did a survival course," my parents would probably, like, I'd be brought in for, like, medical testing to make sure that something awful hadn't happened to me. Oh, jeez. Now that I've had a good bitch, I should just break it down for you. This story might have been a good story if it wasn't filled to the brim with such unnecessary, ludicrous trash. Like, the premise of it was decent. The plot twisty thing was decent, but I was so, like, blinded by that I was just like, when does this end? Because I cannot freaking take this anymore. I'm baffled. I don't know how half this stuff made it through an editor. Maybe it's self-published, I don't know, but like, there's so much. How did this not all get redlined? And I know that sounds really mean, but it made me feel intense feelings of frustration, and I just couldn't. So would I recommend this book? No. There's 4 other of them in the series. I will not be reading any of them because I just couldn't take it anymore. Would I can't remember what my other question usually is. That's it. I moaned to you, and then I told you a horrific story, and then I told you that I didn't like. This was a really long video to get to this point. I don't recommend you read this book, but if you do, please tell me what you thought about it, and if you were as bleeding confused as I was, and if you wanted to slap many of the characters, just like I did. Survival guide. Oh, no. Grab on good for coming. Slán, agus Merry Christmas.